Nearly half of American workers are hoping for a promotion or raise in 2023. I get it. If inflation goes up 2 to 3% a year on average, which is weird because this is what CFP Chad Burton and I used to say, and then it's up 7% this year, and you can say, like, ooh, we want raises of 2 to 3%. Inflation's going up 2 to 3%. We want to stay ahead of the game. So nearly half of Americans want to get a promotion or a raise. And if not, you're going to have some discontent and you're going to have some fear out there from individuals. First segment of the show, I talked about mortgage demand inching higher as interest rates move lower. Mortgage applications to purchase a home rose 4% in the last week and were 38% lower than the same week a year ago. So again, month to month, it's looking good. Year to year, it's looking dry. Let's talk a little bit about this concept and more with Tony Mendes, host of Bay Area. The Real Estate Report is the show you do, but the website is bayarealoansource.com. It's bayarealoansource.com, and it's Real Estate Report. Heard today on KDOW, 2 p.m., right?
Yes. Good morning.
And then there's a replay tomorrow at 6 p.m. Let's talk a little bit about this. Mortgage demand is inching higher as interest rates have moved lower. It's a little bit of a shadow move in the last 30 days, but the 10-year Treasury stopped playing with 4.2%, and it said, we're more comfortable down around 3.5%. Did that change your world a little bit?
Yeah, we enjoy seeing the rates go up and down. People are paying attention to these fluctuations. It was a lot of good relief after a 20-year high at 7.08. Depending on where you go, you're pricing at 2 to almost 3 months lows on interest rates, and it's been a really good reaction from the market. It's kind of the wrong timing. This is the slow time of the year, but the buyers that are out there are really enjoying that. They have the ability to do long-term locks. If you're looking at something even in the spring, you can lock these rates right now if you fear that rates will continue to go up.
What is a long-term lock and what is the downside? What if the rate continues to go lower?
Long-term lock is anything over, the typical 30, 60 days. Most lenders will actually go up to 90 without even blinking an eye, but now they go up to 180 days. Some lenders charge a fee for that, so you have to be really careful about locking that in and doing an upfront fee. But it can save you a lot of money if you do so and you're locking in a good rate. The downside is if rates go down, what do you do? So some lenders let you float down. We work with a couple wholesale lenders that allow you to float down within the last 15 days of that lock if rates are better, or you just switch lenders. You have to remember you have a fee that you may have paid.
Okay, so that's what a long-term lock is, and it's being used. Who's the typical person who would use a long-term lock? Just someone who's insecure about direction of rates, or is it something bigger than that?
Builders are, if you're building a house and you see the rates are working in your favor, you would lock in usually through the period of that build. But now a lot more people who are seeing these huge rate fluctuations are saying, I want to lock it in, even though I'm not going to be buying for another 3 or 4 months from now. So anyone can use them.
Okay. Now let's go to the concept of, you and I were talking yesterday about some ideas for today's show, and it dawned on me that I bought a home in my 20s, late 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s, and now in my 50s. I have a couple rental properties in there. I've got a couple homes that I've lived in. I've got a vacation home or a second home. Interesting that I'm breaking it down into decades and 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I feel like it's been very good to me in the big picture, but every time I do it, I'm nervous. Let's talk about people who buy on a regular basis.
I think you coined this yesterday. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. It's a long-term game. I bought homes in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, so I missed the 20s. I wish I did buy something in the 20s. And I think I would say that I was lucky that I bought in my 20s, but I didn't. But I was lucky I bought in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's the time in the market is really the key here. And I think the luck part is all about, did you buy it in a down market or midway or in the top of the market? And that just changes how soon you can do your next transaction and really improve that upon your portfolio in real estate. I don't know if I want to use the word luck. I think, and a lot of people, especially investors, like to say, well, I timed it perfectly, and then look back at it and say I was lucky. But I don't know. It's kind of a weird concept to think that, the more you get into real estate, the more you feel like you're lucky.
I've bought on some short-term lows and sold in some short-term highs, so I feel luck. But for me, it has been time in the market. And it's worthy of note that you and I once rented an apartment together. And we had another roommate, Mark, who was kind of a gym rat. It was kind of fun. We could have afforded a home in our 20s. Like, we could have afforded a rental property, and then we could have left it and made money for lifetime. But we were too living in the moment. We were too much like, what do we do on New Year's Eve? I don't know if that's worthy of talking, but sometimes you could pull together your rents and afford a monthly mortgage.
Well, that's certainly happening, and you have to be careful when you buy real estate together. The saying in real estate is, if you want to lose a friend, buy real estate together. But that's what people are doing now. If you're renting now and you have a neighbor and you walk over to your neighbor and say, let's buy a place, we're already renting now, why don't we buy a duplex? That's happening. People are getting together and buying property. But going back to, being young and saying, oh, we could have pooled our money together and bought a property. Now it's a little bit harder. When you and I were making, a certain amount of money back in our 20s and 30s, we could look around and find inventory that actually fit our budget. Maybe we had to put something else together, a little bit more down payment, but there was always something there. That's the big problem that a lot of people are looking at now. Is just the inventory is just it's anemic and it's expensive, and you have the higher interest rate. So it's been a lot harder for people to say, I feel lucky getting into real estate, and saying, oh, we need a house. We just had a kid. Let's buy a house. It just doesn't happen like that anymore. I think we need a lot more preparation, and we need prices and rates to cooperate. That's why you're seeing such more activity right away when you see these rates drop and you see mortgage applications spike, because people are really paying attention. They really need that break in that overall cost.
Well, it's fun talking real estate with you. We'll talk again in a week, and you and I will talk off air. Thanks very much. It's Tony Mendes. You can find him at BayAreaLoanSource.com. It's BayAreaLoanSource.com. You can find his podcast at KDOW.biz, or listen to his show live. And there's a way to listen to it live online as well. You can listen to him and Gordon. Gordon is quite an entrepreneur. He's someone who is wildly intelligent, whereas I think Tony's more of the average regular man with good intelligence. Check them out today at 2 o'clock here on KDOW. I'm Rob Black.